Breeders' Crown coverage from the Meadowlands with 3-year-old pacing fillies. Test of Faith, we'll see, trying to cap off a brilliant 2021 with her 13th win in 15 starts. That's coming up. This year-end extravaganza with a lot of money on the line, not to mention championships. Our first will be that 4th, the 3-year-old filly Pace, where Test of Faith will look to try and wrap up championship. For more on what to look ahead to and forward to from the Big M, let's check in with Jessica Otten. Hi, Jessica.
Hey, how are you guys doing today? It's a great and beautiful day in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Not much rain on the forecast yet so far. We had a great weekend of racing last night with the 2-year-olds. The 3-year-olds and the open divisions are on tap today. It all comes down to the Breeders' Crown, and we are so happy to have it back here at the Meadowlands. Like I had mentioned, the 3-year-olds will kick off the card and race 4 with the 3-year-old filly Pacers. And there's a lot of year-end divisions that come down to the Breeders' Crown, and we'll find out today who will take those home. Back to you, Greg.
Jessica, thank you. We look forward to it. It's going to be tremendous coverage this afternoon. All these races so important, and they're going to be part of a cross-breed, cross-country Pick 5 that we're offering this afternoon from the Meadowlands and from Belmont Park.
I love that. I love that you have the opportunity to cover not just a couple different racetracks, but covering the races from the Meadowlands, and such an important and historic day as well. And I think it's very cool that the Breeders' Crown returns to the Meadowlands for the first time since 2016. It's such an important weekend, and glad we get to celebrate it today with a couple of the races in the sequence.
Race 7 and 8 from the Meadowlands going to be part of that cross-country Pick 5, kind of kicking things off in there. Let's bring in Anthony Stabile. Anthony, how are you going to play the sequence today?
Hey, Wolf. Yeah, looking forward to this cross-breed, cross-Hudson sequence, if you will. We're going to start things off, and this is a great sequence today. We get the cross-breed. There's going to be lots of action. We're going to start it off with Alter. Everybody's going to be rushing to the Alter. We'll see if Alter can get the job done. We'll single Alter and try and have a little coverage the rest of the way. After that, a couple of more races from the Big M, a couple of races here for Empire Showcase Day. So we'll single Alter. We'll spread her a bit in race number 8. 4, 5, and 6. Quattro de Julio. Delayed Hanover is my long shot special in that race 8. And Juju B was supplemented to the race. Head over to Belmont Park. A spread in the Maid of the Mist. Venti Valentine, the number 1's the top pick, but we'll use 4 2-year-old fillies. Back to the Breeders' Crown, race 9. Another little bit of not much of a spread. Lion Sentinel, the number 3, one of the top harness horses in the land. We'll use Rocknificent as well, and then wrap it up in what could be the toughest race of the day, the Empire Distaff with 3 fillies.
All right, Big A, we look forward to it. That's going to be fun. Not singling Juju B in that 3-year-old mile trot. That's a horse who, the first 3-year-old male trotter ever with 2 sub-150 winning miles.
Pretty impressive.
It'll be fun to watch.
Pretty impressive, and that horse reading up a lot on that one. There's some big stars on the program today, too. That nice matchup with the 3-year-olds as well. And as we heard Jessica mention, divisional honors on the line today. It's basically like we have the Breeders' Cup coming up next week for the thoroughbreds. That's what it is right now at the harness track this weekend at the Meadowlands.
The 3-year-old filly Pace, or Test of Faith, 12 for 14 in this 2021 campaign. The only 2 defeats, both second in those 2 performances. She has been dominant for Brett Pelling. Time for our 3-year-old filly Pace trackside report. It is brought to you by Boehringer Ingelheim. Let's go to Jessica Otten.
Thanks so much, guys. Yes, we are getting ready for the 3-year-old filly Pace. How did we get here? Of course, there wasn't a single elimination. 2 horses had taken the bye going into this race today. That is the 8 Test of Faith and the 10 Scarlet Hanover. The lone elimination was won by Grace of Hill on the front end on a day where the front end really wasn't the place to be, and she put up a strong performance. The 9 Firestar Hanover came a long way first over and put up a game performance as well. Both of these fillies do own a lot of speed. Grace Hill is going to start from post position number 5. The 7 Blue Diamond Eyes for the Burke Brigade had a nice second over trip in the elimination to finish 3rd by a neck, coming home in 26-4, pacing that mile in 1:50-3. It is a wee bit windy out right now. The wind is going to be in their faces going up the backside. Firestart Hanover is typically a horse who likes to leave the gate, as does Test of Faith, but both fillies can be very versatile. I'm going to stick with Test of Faith here in the 3-year-old filly Pace final. Back to Greg.
Jessica, thank you. It looks like the public is as well heavy favorite for this battle-tested filly, Test of Faith. Let's bring in Anthony Stabile. And Anthony, 2-5 right now on Test of Faith, and easy to see why with what she's produced this year.
Yeah, amazing. A dozen wins from 14 tries. Gets the bye from last week. Another filly in here. The bottom filly, the number 10, Scarlet Hanover, took the bye as well. Did not have to run in that elimination at the Big M last Saturday night. Look, Saturday afternoon, rather. The horse I want out of the elimination, I think Test of Fate's going to be really tough. The horse I want out of the elimination, and the public seems to agree, is the number 7, Blue Diamond Eyes. Now, Jessica mentioned that the front end wasn't the place to be. With that said, Grace Hill, the winner of the elim, had a real easy time of it on the front end. And this filly, Blue Diamond Eyes, for Ron Burke and Yannick Gingras, she didn't. She had to pick up some ground late. She had a decent enough trip, but she had to make up some ground late. And I thought she was the one out of the elimination. You know, sometimes in these eliminations, these fillies, Colts, Geldings, they're not as cranked as they are for the final. The elims worth $25,000. The final's worth $600,000. She was coming off she had missed a week, having not run since October 10th. She ran last week. Now she runs this week. I think if anybody upsets Test of Faith out of the elimination, it'll be the 7, Blue Diamond Eyes.
Anthony, what about these two Nifty Norman stablemates, the 5 Grace Hill, the 9 Fire Start Hanover? He's won 6 Breeders' Crown trophies in his career, and Fire Start Hanover, she loves to have a target to try and run down, and she nearly paced down her stablemate when they met last time out.
I'll tell you what, she came first over, and she was first over for a long time. She kind of pulled Blue Diamond Eyes into the action last time, and Fire Start Hanover ran her eyeballs out proverbially. Like I said, out of the elim, the filly we have on the screen right now, Grace Hill, she's the one I want least because I felt like even with Jessica saying that the front end wasn't the place to be, she had such an easy go of it last time, guys, that I just feel like I want the fillies that were right behind her in second and third, namely in third with Blue Diamond Eyes. I'm a little surprised at 2-5 on Test of Faith. I get it, 12 for 14. But I don't think this is a one filly race and then the rest of them are pacing for second money. I wouldn't, at 2-5, I wouldn't mind taking a little flyer on Blue Diamond Eyes and grabbing that 6-1.
Well, she's been so consistent, Anthony, and you look at that last performance. It was in stakes record time, and that stretch run, she just exploded in the stretch by Oakwood Annabella.
Yeah, she came home in 28 seconds on the half mile out at Northfield in Ohio, and she's done a lot of things right. She does miss a week. This was 2 weeks ago. These are little things that sometimes I will pick apart too much. I will overthink and get in my head. But when these, especially the harness horses, right, for those of us who don't follow as much, the harness horses, when they miss the week, whether it is by design or it is by, sick, lame, whatever the case might be, I'm always, there's always a little trepidation in my mind. I mean, she looks the part. She looks amazing on the racetrack, obviously. You got Dave Miller in the sulky. Dave, one of the greatest ever, grab a pair of reins. 1-2, though, like I said, I like Blue Diamond Eyes out of that elim last week. I know this filly will be tough, Test of Faith, but I think Blue Diamond Eyes is going to run a big one today.
Short price, obviously, at 1-2. We still have some big stars coming up. Atlanta, we're going to see in this mare trot coming up, who the one big missing piece on the resume is a Breeders' Crown race for her. We're going to see Bella Bellini as well, former Hamiltonian winner. You think it's going to be the shortest price, though, we're going to see here?
We got 2 Hambo and 2 Hambo Oaks winners later on the card. Looking forward to seeing all of them trot. And then we have Lion Sentinel in race 9 in the pace, and she's a filly a mare, I should say, who is at the top of the USTA poll. I mean, looking at a horse that is battling for year-end honors. So she's part of the cross-country pick 5 as well. Looking forward to seeing how Lion Sentinel does later on. Yeah, lots of great action still to come, and it looks like they are. The Marshal has called the Pacers. I called one harness race in my life at Yonkers, and I made sure I got the Marshal calls the Pacers in honor of my man Bob Meyer up at the Hilltop.
We're set for the 3-year-old filly Pace to kick off our coverage from the Meadowlands here in the Breeders' Crown. Left-hand side of your screen, that's a look at Overstep as we get set for the Sleepy Hollow as well. Let's go to Roger Houston for the call from the Big N.
Test of Faith as she looks to seal the deal in the sophomore pacing filly division. Up next, the 3-year-old pacing fillies in this first Breeders' Crown final on the Saturday afternoon. They're going for $600,000. And without further ado, let's send things up to the top of the stands. And Hall of Fame announcer, Mr. Roger Houston.
From the inside out, Notorious Pink, Marcella Hanover, Think of Galaxies, She's a Freak Like Me, Grace Hill, Mackie Hanover, Blue Diamond Eyes, Test of Faith, Firestart Hanover, and Scarlet Hanover on the outside. A field of 10. Breeders' Crown final, 3-year-old filly pacers for $600,000, and here they come. They're off and pacing, and it's Grace Hill going right out for the early lead. Blue Diamond Eyes up on the outside. Notorious Pink gets away at the pylons. Taking a seat into the turn, Marcella Hanover is here fourth as they race around the turn. Firestart Hanover up on the outside. Now second and going right on to the top. Grace Hill is there second. Notorious Pink racing third. Racing fourth, Marcella Hanover fifth at the pylons. That's Blue Diamond Eyes as they race down the backside. Racing sixth on the outside, Test of Faith. Think of Galaxy is eighth, opening quarter, 27 flat. Down the backside, going to the halfway station. She's a Freak Like Me on the inside, and trailing the field, it's Mackie Hanover. Going to the halfway point, showing the way, Dexter Dunn, and Firestart Hanover has the margin by a length and a quarter. Right there, second is Grace Hill as the race by the halfway point, and 55-4, 28-4, second panel into the final turn. On top of the field, it's Firestart Hanover by a length and a quarter. Moving up on the outside, here comes Yannick Jingon, Blue Diamond Eyes now second. Grace Hill racing third, fourth on the outside. Test of Faith now with the cover around the final turn, going to the 3-quarter mark. Scarlet Hanover, 3 back on the outside flow. 1:23-2, 27-3 backside. Less than an eighth of a mile to go. On top of the field, Firestart Hanover. Test of Faith closing in with every stride on the outside. Battle to the wire. It's Firestart Hanover, Test of Faith, Blue Diamond Eyes. Scarlet Hanover comes late, but it's all Test of Faith. Scarlet Hanover is here second. Photo for show, 1:49 4/5.
Wow, strong final time, 1:49 4 the mile. Test of Faith, Anthony, does it again, and very strange tactics here from Firestart Hanover. Dexter Dunn sending that one to the front early, usually likes a target to come after.
Yeah, Firestart Hanover tried to overcome the outside draw by bottoming the field out, was able to get to the top. Test of Faith, David Miller had the utmost confidence in his filly around there. He gapped the cover of Blue Diamond Eyes, who towed him into the action, tipped off the cover in the stretch, and able to hold off Scarlet Hanover, the other filly who was given the bye. They run 1-2.
Test of Faith, 13 for 15, 2021 campaign, adding the 3-year-old filly pace at the Breeders' Crown. We're going to take a timeout. Sleepy Hollow still to come. We'll have the post parade next. Overstep, the 4-5 favorite for Todd Pletcher. We'll be back. Filly and Mare Trot is next, and one of the biggest stars on the entire program coming up from the Meadowlands in Atlanta. Former Hamiltonian winner from 2018, multiple Dan Patch award-winning female trotter who's won just about every major event at the major circuit you can name. In addition to the Hamiltonian, Kentucky Filly Futurity, Maple Leaf Trot, Armbro Memorial. The big one missing on the resume is a Breeders' Crown. Fourth as a 2-year-old, second as a 3-year-old. Last couple of years faced the boys in the Open. Trot was third in both. Can she break through this year? Let's go back to Jessica Otten, the lead up to the Filly and Mare Trot presented by Kentuckiana Farms.
Absolutely. I think Atlanta is looking to take home that Breeders' Crown trophy. She put up a really strong performance last week. She brushed right to the front after quarter pole moving and, really took the field by surprise. She is a world record holder. Like you mentioned, her resume just speaks for herself. We saw there in that first Breeders' Crown final, front end really wasn't the place you wanted to be. Test of Faith come from well off of the pace to score in 1:49.4 for the connections of David Miller and Brett Pelling. They're going to try to double up here in the open mare trot Breeders' Crown final with the 7 When Doves Cry. She raced well in her get some cover, just didn't have quite the punch home. She's coming into this race in top form, has been racing well. She's pretty much a very versatile mare, I guess you could say, from post 7. I really like Atlanta in here. She draws post 2. They said she warmed up great. Another one to maybe keep an eye on is the 6 Felicity Shagwell. She left well out of the gate to clear to the front and sat in the 3-hole and was loaded with trot running horses over at the end of the wire. Aki had his hands absolutely full. But I'm going to stick with Atlanta, the queen, on top of my ticket here in the mare open trot.
Jessica, thank you. Yeah, one of the true stars that we're going to see on this program, 2 to 5 on Atlanta, one of just 15 fillies to win the Hamiltonian. And let's bring in Anthony Stabile. Anthony, Yannick Gingras said she wasn't even 100% healthy last week when she was able to win. He thinks she's going to be a lot better this week. He wants to spot her second over, thinks she's a lot better closing.
Yeah, she kind of fell into a trip that she's not accustomed to last time, Greg, but that's what's going to happen, in these races, especially from the rail draw, from the pylon draw. She kind of did what she had to do. I would imagine they go back to what's been the bread and butter in her illustrious career here, getting ready. I think if she runs 1, 2, 3 today, she goes over $3 million in career earnings. The horse that I thought was interesting out of the Elim last week, besides Atlanta, obviously, was the one Refined, who made up a lot of ground late in the game, whereas when Doves Cry, who's the second choice, and she's on the screen right now at 3-1, she kind of just grinded away. It sounds silly to say, well, she had every chance to get by Atlanta, but she did. And, not getting by Atlanta is not going to be held against you. But I thought Refined, and, you're talking about 3-1 as opposed to 25-1. I would imagine that if she can work out a little bit of a better trip, and she figures to from her inside draw today, Refined, at 25-1, I want to try and find some value behind Atlanta, who looks like she's going to be tough as nails, as she usually is, at that kind of a price. And now she just went from 25-1 to 12-1 in one flash. So I would look to hit a 2-1 exacta here.
Filly and mare trot for the Breeders' Crown. Coming up, let's go to Roger Houston for the call.
His way around the Big M Oval. Later today, he'll try to win a 3-year-old Colt and Gelding Pace Breeders' Crown with the great Charlie Bay.
The mare trot has been won the last 2 years by Manchego. She owns the stakes record, 151, set back in 2019. Here's Hall of Fame announcer Roger Houston with the call.
Horses are moving in behind the preferred equine starting gate. From the inside out, we've got Refined, Atlanta, Thankful No, Sorella, Ramona Hill, Felicity Shagwell, and When Doves Cry, Hypnotic AM, Westland Quest, and Next Level Stuff. 3-year-old and up, filly and mare trot, 300,000 on the line, and here they come. They're off and trotting, and who guessed it? Felicity Shagwell right out to grab the early lead. Refined on the inside, on the outside, Westland Quest. As they race into the turn, go on to the first 8. Atlanta gets away 4th. 5th on the outside, Sorella. Thankful No on the inside, 6. Ramona Hills 7th. When Doves Cry racing 8th. Hypnotic AM is 9th and trailing the field. Next Level Stuff as they race over the quarter in 27 3/5. On to the backside in the 3/8 mark. Felicity Shagwell S has the lead by a length and a quarter. Westland Quest is here second. Refined racing third. Atlanta at the pylons 4th. Racing 5th. That's Thankful No. Down the backside, going to the 3/4 mark. Moving on the outside, Sorella as they near the halfway station. Up the inside comes Next Level Stuff, and here comes Atlanta. Now fourth, now third on the outside, going after the leaders off the half. 57-2, a cakewalk. Second quarter, 29-4. Felicity Shagwell S has the lead by a length. Atlanta up on the outside second, racing third. Around the turn, Westland Quest on the outside fourth. Thankful No moves into position with the cover. Racing fifth on the inside is Refined. Sorella on the outside sixth. 3 quarters in 1:25-4. Now they're stepping 28-2. Backside. Off the course into the inside lane is Westland Quest. Felicity Shagwell S the leader. Atlanta's on the outside, but it's going to be Upke Swanstead and Felicity Shagwell S by 2 1/4. Atlanta is second. Home third. Wind Doves Cry. Photo for fourth. 1:52 2/5.
Atlanta just cannot seem to break through in this Breeders' Crown. Anthony Oki Svanstad, fourth behind Atlanta in that elimination last time out. Felt he would have blown by her if he got a trip. He didn't want to take any chances this afternoon. He puts Felicity Shagwell on the front end.
She left for the lead last week, Greg, in the elimination, and Atlanta came calling very, very early on. Not her usual tactics. Today, Felicity Shagwell, excellent drive, being the aggressor, went to the top. Atlanta, and we said it last week about When Doves Cry. No excuse for Atlanta. Dead aim from the quarter pole home. Just couldn't get us. That second quarter in 29-4, that's where Oki shut the door on them here with Felicity Shagwell.
What a performance. Felicity Shagwell turning the tables on one of the greats, Atlanta, who remains now winless in her career. She's won just about every other big event out there except for a Breeders' Crown. 3-year-old Pace next from the Breeders' Crown at the Meadowlands. Charlie May, Ohio's 2-year-old Pacer of the Year, going again against Perfect Sting, the leading money earner of 2021. That's coming up. The biggest head-to-head showdown that we have coming up. Charlie May, Perfect Sting going head-to-head in this 3-year-old Pace coming up right now. Charlie May, the 6-5 favorite. Perfect Sting, leading money earner of 2021. 8-5 on the board, not far behind. Let's go to Jessica Otten for more from the Big M.
Thanks so much. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of year-end awards kind of depending on these Breeders' Crown finals. And this is a division right here. It's been a wide-open division all year long. Like you'd mentioned, Charlie May and Perfect Sting, those were both elimination winners. Perfect Sting won on the front end, and Charlie May came first over. He had plenty left in the tank. Unfortunately, in the Meadowlands Pace, things didn't go Charlie May's way. He was disqualified. Perfect Sting ended up being placed second. I'm a big Perfect Sting fan. I love the storyline behind this guy. Trainer Joe Holloway trained the mom. She be singing, and the father always be Mickey, and the grandfather always a virgin. Love the story, love the horse. He's so nice to look at out on the racetrack, but he just seems to come up a little bit short here in these finals. I think Charlie May finished the race with lots of pace left and lots left in the tank last week. And there's a couple others here worth noting as well. The one Southwind Gentry, he made 2 moves last week in his elimination. He removed to the front up the backside, and he had lots of pace against Charlie May coming home near the wire as well. Heart of Chewbacca from post 3 for the Ohio Connections, Dan and Christy Noble. He was the one that set the pace heading towards the half, and Danny had a pretty good hold on him going up the backside, got locked in a bit late, and was able to shake loose and make it into the final. Chase H. Hanover, another one who was running right, or was pacing really hard right behind behind Perfect Sting. There's just quite a few horses in here that if the race shapes up any which way, we saw that last one being won on the front end by Felicity Shagwell, and the one before that coming from off the pace. So the pace here, the track is playing out pretty well either which way. So I'm going to stick with Perfect Sting. I'm a big fan of this horse. I really hope he can punch through at the end of the season for the Breeders' Crown Final. I'm going to stick with Perfect Sting and the 3-year-old Colton Gelding Breeders' Crown Final.
Jessica, thank you. Perfect Sting. He's attempting to become the first male pacer to win Breeders' Crown trophies at 2 and 3 since Artiscape did it back in 97 and 98. He, of course, is the Dan Patch Award winner for 2-year-old mare pacers after a perfect 10-for-10 campaign last year. But that's his main competition, Anthony, right there, the 2, Charlie May.
Yeah, Charlie May was disqualified, like Jessica said, from the Meadowlands Pace on the day where there were two Charlies disqualified. Hot Rod Charlie from the Haskell over in Jersey, as well as the Meadowlands Pace with Charlie May. He came with his usual late rally last time out and got the job done. He looked to be tiring a little bit at the end of his elimination win, whereas Perfect Sting seemed to get more powerful as he paced to the line last time, and he's got a little more early speed, and so far today I think you want to be forward. I want to see David Miller get aggressive with Perfect Sting, leave out of there. You know, a lot of the four horses to his inside, Greg, don't have a ton of early pace in them, so I would imagine Perfect Sting's going to go. One of the horses that is on the screen right now, the number 6, Chase H. Hanover, he gets Lasix for the first time. He was behind Perfect Sting, kind of chased him around there last time. Wouldn't mind having that exacted today at 39-1 under the 5-2. Second choice right now to Charlie May.
Time for the 3-year-old Pace from the Breeders' Crown. Let's go to Ken Workington.
Or will we get an upset like we did last year with sand between my toes for Scott Ceron, who paid the biggest win price in Breeders' Crown history? Here's Ken with the call.
It's post time. Preferred equine starting gate rolling for the Breeders' Crown Final. $600,000 Breeders' Crown Final presented by Diamond Creek Farm. 7-5 on 2, Charlie May. Elimination winner, 8-5 on the 5, Perfect Sting. He was also an elimination winner. They square off here in the Breeders' Crown Final presented by Diamond Creek Farm for $600,000. It starts the 50-cent early pick 4. Here they come. And they're off. Chase H. Hanover fast out of the start here with Perfect Sting outsprinted in second, and Charlie May from the inside into the top 3. A Bunkabat Hanover fourth as they swing around the first turn. Southwind Gendry from the rail got away in 5th position. Rocky Road Hanover on the outside 6th. Then it's I'll Drink to That going up 7th on the outside, followed by Heart of Chewbacca and Southwind Peter and Water Sports Teen at the back as Perfect Sting, elimination winner, takes over from Chase H. Hanover second. Charlie May fed racetrack by Brett Miller. The elimination winner goes after Perfect Sting early here, 27-3. A Bunkabat Hanover fourth across the backstretch. Southwind Gendry is 5th. Then it's Rocky Road Hanover on the inside 6th, followed by I'll Drink to That and Heart of Chewbacca, Southwind Peter and Water Sports Teen. So taking over command, it's Charlie May and Brett Miller. Charlie May and Perfect Sting. The elimination winners 1-2 here. Chase H. Hanover third. The half up in a rated 55-4. 28-1. A Bunkabat Hanover fourth on the inside. Southwind Gendry uncovered 5th on the outside. Staying in was Southwind Peter 6th. And 3 wide 7th comes Heart of Chewbacca from the back of the pack. I'll Drink to That gets rolling from last 3 wide as well. And then on the inside, Southwind Peter is shuffled to the rear with Water Sports Teen over by 3/4. And at that station, it's Charlie May. The ball's in his court. Perfect Sting angles out to take his late shot. So the stage is set here in the Breeders' Crown. 123-4 in the stretch. Charlie May will try to hold on. Perfect Sting has dead aim on him on the outside, and Chase H. Hanover third. Charlie May pushed to the hilt and going full tilt. Perfect Sting right by and drawing clear. It's a perfect Breeders' Crown for Perfect Sting. Then Charlie May, Chase H. Hanover, and Rocky Road Hanover. Perfect Sting in 149-4.
Perfect Sting, too good. He becomes the first male pacer to win Breeders' Crown trophies at 2-3 in over 20 years here. Brett Miller, Anthony, making that early move on Charlie May, but Perfect Sting just too mumuch late. I thought it was a tactical mistake by David Miller behind Perfect Sting to let Charlie May clear as easily as he did. 27-3, 55-4. Those are as pedestrian fractions you're going to see for horses of this class, but Perfect Sting just too good for Charlie May. You saw it last week. I like the way Perfect Sting finished up in his elim better than Charlie May, and I think it came to fruition today, 5-2-6 at the Meadowlands. Joe Holloway, his trainer, says we're 6 feet from greatness. There could have been another $1 million on his card if you gave him just 6 more feet. Had a lot of narrow misses, but now adds a real big one here with this Breeders' Crown here in this 3-year-old pace. Yeah, and David Miller never panicked. I thought, like I said, in the chess match, I thought it was checkmate for Charlie May, but David Miller never panicked. He knew what he had in front of him, and he rolls right by Charlie May in the last 80 yards of race number 6. David Miller, Joe Holloway team up for the victory with Perfect Sting leading money earner of 2021, adding to that tally. Let's go to Jessica Auden.
Joined by winning driver David Miller. David, take me through the race there a little bit. You left out of the gate, but you're pretty happy to sit pocket behind Charlie May there.
Yeah, I left the gate, like you said. Nobody from the outside left out, so I was pretty happy about that. The quarter was pretty soft, and I figured Brett would make a move with Charlie. We were going pretty slow, and I was happy the way it was setting up, landing on Charlie May's back, and half was pretty soft, so it was great.
It's been a bit of a frustrating year with this guy, showing up in the eliminations and not quite punching through in the finals. This one has to feel good.
It feels great. I've been with him right from the start, and to see him do it, it made me feel really good.
Enjoy this one.
Thank you.
A big moment here, and maybe our biggest head-to-head showdown in the Breeders' Crown from the Big M here. Perfect Sting outpacing Charlie May and trainer Joe Holloway. His 9th Breeders' Crown trophy.
Just an impressive performance. Horse that was 10 for 10 as a 2-year-old. David Miller runs down his cousin Brett Miller, and over 22,000 combined victories for these cousins. And you could just see how calm and patient he was with Perfect Sting, knowing that Charlie May was going to carry him. That's live cover.
Perfect Sting, Dan Patch Award winner as a 2-year-old, in line to win another one now as a 3-year-old. You're watching America's Day at the Races. Those just joining us on SNY, great to have you with us on Empire Showcase Day here in Elmont, New York. Also have the Breeders' Crown from the Meadowlands back at the Big M for the first time since 2016. These races go a long way in determining your Dan Patch divisional winners at the end of the year, as well as Horse of the Year. Greg Wolf alongside champion jockey Richard Migliore, and I know this day means a lot to you with all the wins you piled up here.
Yeah, I always love this day. It's just a great celebration of the sport, and particularly the sport in the state of New York. All of these New York Thoroughbred breeders take so much pride, and whether it's a person that breeds a few horses or a person like Barry and Cheryl Schwartz, people like Barry and Cheryl Schwartz, or Chester and Mary Broman, who breed 50 horses a year, it's just a wonderful celebration of our game.
Barry Schwartz Silks, we already saw in the winner's circle early on the card to kick off this program, the first couple of races on Empire Showcase Day. Meanwhile, back at the Big M, 3-year-old filly Trot coming up, and another big star in Bella Bellini starts our cross-country pick 5. This is our Hamiltonian Oaks winner from earlier this year, trained by Nifty Norman, 6-time Breeders' Crown winner, even money favorite. Let's check in with Anthony Stabile for his cross-country pick 5.
Hey, Greg, I'm going to get a little goofy here in the first leg. Now, if you want to use 2 horses, the other horse you could throw in is Alter. I'm going to use a 16-to-1 shot, the number 7, Spanish Blue Chip. And like I said, if you want to double it up, Alter wouldn't be the worst decision to make. We'll see what Splash Blue Chip can do after missing the week. 3rd in the elimination last week. We'll see what she can do at a big price. Then we're going to go 4 deep in the next leg, again on the trot. 3 deep, rather. Delayed Hanover, number 5, going to be the top pick there. Another horse at a price. We'll spread in the Maid of the Mist back here at beautiful Belmont Park. Use both Rocknificent and Lion Sentinel in race 9 back at the Big M, and then wrap things up with 3 fillies in the Empire Distaff here at Belmont.
No Bella Bellini for Anthony Stabile. That is a brave call. Time for our 3-year-old filly Trot trackside report. It's brought to you by Blue Chip Farms. Let's go to Jessica Auden.
Thanks so much. Just to touch base on that 3-year-old Colton Gelding Pace. So happy to see those connections win with Perfect Sting. He really deserves that win. But on we go to race 7, the 3-year-old filly Trotters Breeders' Crown final, and there's a couple of different ways you can go in here. You can look at the 3 Bella Bellini, the Hamiltonian Oaks champs like you guys had based on. She finally gets a nice inside post. That was a good mile last week. She had a fading horse as cover going around that far turn. She flipped 3 wide and trotted home nicely. Alter has been very impressive thus far for her connections this year. She shows that one miscue. They said she kind of doubled up there after a recall down in Lexington. She was much the best in her elimination last week, but Yannick Gingras talked yesterday on a interview saying, she's going to be pressured this week. This is a deep field. A couple other horses that you could also take a shot with is the 10 Herculesa. She left...
And that the fillies are off and trotting. It's Alter shooting out of there. Iteration from the outside with Herculesa, early speed. Bella Bellini's put in play. Amazon du Hara on the rail, 4 across the track. James McDonald guns Amazon du Hara. Bella Bellini on the outside, and Alter is 3 deep and driving, and 4 wide. Now 3 wide is Iteration, 4th and gaining. Shirley Goodness settles in 5th past the quarter. Herculesa is 6th, followed by Chablis 7th. Then comes Anoka, Hanover, and Splash Blue Chip, and You Auto Dream 28 opens it up here. 2 wide across the backstretch they go. Alter takes over on a break. Iteration broke. Bella Bellini now pockets up here behind Alter. The elimination winners 1-2. Amazon du Hara is trotting in 3rd. It's Shirley Goodness 4th, a loose 4th at this point. Herculesa 5th on the inside. Shooting a gap is Splash Blue Chip, then Chablis on the outside with Anoka, Hanover, and You Auto Dream. Still on a gallop. Iteration, the half 56 and 428.4 rating. Alter in front onto the far turn, stalked by Bella Bellini. Perfect trip so far. Amazon du Hara on the insides, 3rd. Herculesa inches up uncovered, 4th on the outside. That's a toe for Chablis. Following that cover, now 5th. A shuffle for Shirley Goodness and Splash Blue Chip to the outside. Anoka Hanover is a 3rd over right now. You Auto Dream has to pass the pack here as they pass 3/4. And it's Alter in front there. Bella Bellini is poised from the pocket spot, 125 and 4. A well-rated Alter, the one to gun down. Bella Bellini, and Alter broke. Alter went off stride and off the course. So that leaves it all to Bella Bellini. Herculesa's full out. Late trot from Anoka Hanover now into 2nd. But it's Bella Bellini who locks it down in the Breeders' Crown. Dexter Dunn and Bella Bellini. Bella Bellini takes it over Anoka Hanover. Then it was close. Either Shirley Goodness, maybe Splash Blue Chip in that photo. 153.
Bella Bellini, the Hamiltonian Oaks winner, takes the 3-year-old filly Trot. Anthony Alter looked like things were going great, and then breaks strides, and her day was done.
Yeah, you know, I wonder, Greg, because Dexter Dunn behind Bella Bellini thought about vacating that pocket, approaching the far turn, on the turn, and then right here in the stretch, right before Alter jumps it off, he gets her around the breaking filly. I don't know what would have happened if Alter stayed on stride, but it doesn't matter now. Bella Bellini inherits and is able to coast home an easy winner. Anoka Hanover, too late, not enough. A couple of lengths behind in 2nd.
Nancy Tachter, trainer Alter, she had said she was so happy that Yannick Gingras was able to get on Alter last time out because she can be difficult to handle. We see that again here, and Bella Bellini no worse than 1st or 2nd in 15 of 16 starts. Now 16 of 17 starts this year. She just keeps on rolling along.
Boy, what a turnaround from her juvenile season, huh? She was just on the board once in 7 tries, a 2nd place finish, and now a Breeders' Crown champion. She winds up going off the 2nd choice at 8-5 and gets the job done rather easily.
7th Breeders' Crown Trophy victory for Nifty Norman. How about that? And the Hamiltonian Oaks winner adds a Breeders' Crown to the resume as well.
Yeah, and if your favorite gets it done, Alter, you saw broke stride, and they did away with hub rails years ago, so they have the pylons there. Gives them almost like a safety lane to go to get out of the harm's way if a horse does break stride. They started that when NYRA, one of the greatest harness horses of all time, broke stride and went over the hub rail in Saratoga. Thankfully, he was okay, and he stood stud about a mile from Saratoga Harness.
Bella Bellini, the Hamiltonian Oaks winner, adds the 3-year-old filly Trot to an impressive 2021 campaign. Our 3-year-old filly Trot winner's circle report. It's brought to you by Blue Chip Farms. Bella Bellini, driven by Dexter Dunn. And how about Nifty Norman, 7th Breeders' Crown win in his career.
Kind of Todd Pletcher-esque or Chad Brown-esque.
Very much so. $5.20. What a campaign. 7 wins, 6 seconds in 17 starts now for Bella Bellini. Obviously taking advantage. Also, I don't know what would have happened had she not broke stride, but it happened, and Bella Bellini there to pounce.
Yeah, she was in the right position, and Alter has been difficult in the past. She did break stride 2 starts back, so sometimes a horse has a propensity to do something. They get under pressure, they'll revert back to that.
We're back on America's Day at the Races. Good to have you with us. More from the Breeders' Crown coming up. 3-year-old Trot is next, and Jujubee 3-5 on the board for trainer Greg Wright. Andrew McCarthy will drive. Let's go to Jessica Otten for more.
Thanks, guys. Race 8 is the 3-year-old colt and gelding trotters Breeders' Crown final. And a little bit of an interesting field. We saw Captain Corey here on Hamiltonian Day overcome that front end bias to score. Captain Corey isn't in the Breeders' Crown final, so this is another wide open year-end division. We're going to take a look at a couple of horses. I like the 6 Jujubee. They supplemented him into the Kentucky Futurity. He overcame a front end bias that day, and he could have went around again, and they were not catching him. He supplemented to the Breeders' Crown last week in his elimination, and he just got caught at the end of the wire. Cuatro de Julio sat on his back, and they both trotted home nicely. The 4 Cuatro de Julio, what a story it is behind this one. Lucas Juan captured his first Breeders' Crown win last night as a trainer. How would it be for him to come back and pick it up as a catch driver? The story behind Maria Ortland Barr is just amazing. Things are finally going his way. He's picking up some luck. He's picking up some good cover. Looks a bit more manageable on the track as well. The other elimination winner we had last week was the 2 Ambassador Hanover out of the Aki Svanstedt barn. He has a Breeders' Crown on the card today as well. He front-ended the field also. He had been having a little bit of rough trouble there. I remember him in the Hamiltonian final. He come flying from out of the clouds to finish third. Then he tailed off there a bit when he went to Vernon and Tioga and Yonkers. Back to the mile track. He really liked it. He responded well. He came home in 27-4, 51-2. He draws post 2. And a couple others that raced well as well is the 7 Flylight, another Aki Svanstedt trainee. He's been a little bit inconsistent. 10 starts on the year, 2 wins, a second and 3 thirds. But he always shows up. Definitely one you want to put in your exotics. And the 9 is a bit of a question mark. Dancing in the Dark. He was a high Hamiltonian hopeful for the Marcus Melander barn. Brian Sears inherited the drive a couple of starts back. Tim Tetrick was in the bike. He has to get out of the gate on the right foot, and he's got to mind his manners, but boy, does this one have the speed. He comes from an outside post. I think the pace will be pretty hot up front. There are a couple horses in here that like to leave as well. I'm going to stick with Jujubee, the 6, for Andrew McCarthy and Greg Wright Jr. on the top of my ticket in the 3-year-old colt and gelding trot Breeders' Crown final.
That trackside report, thank you, Jessica, brought to you by Rude and Riddle Equine Hospital as we get set for this 3-year-old Colts and Geldings trot coming up. Let's bring in Anthony Stabile. Anthony, Jujubee, 3-5, odds-on favorite. And driver Andrew McCarthy, he felt when beat in that elimination last time out that Jujubee really was struggling with the track a little bit. It was a really deep track that day.
Yeah, and gets to the afternoon here as the 3-5 favorite and has done very, very little wrong. They put up 62.5 to supplement this horse for the $650,000. They get 50% over at Harness, so he can win 3 1/4. He makes a lot of sense. He just got out-hoofed last time by a horse in Cuatro de Julio, who's done another horse who's had a fantastic year. He's been off the board just twice. He's earned over $340,000. I like the 2 favorites in here. I also thought the number 5, Delayed Hanover, who had missed some time. He ran in a Pennsylvania bred stallion race, and then he missed 5 weeks, 6 weeks, and he came back in the Kentucky Futurity, and he didn't run well at all. And then he missed a week, and he came back in the elim last week, and he sprung to life. He had the lead with about a 16th of a mile to go, and he just got run down late. By both Jujubee and Cuatro de Julio. They trotted by him late in the game. At 20-1, I would want to mess around with him a little bit. He picks up Yannick Gingras with Aki Svanstedt driving his own, driving the 2 Ambassador Hanover.
Now here's a look, Anthony, at Cuatro de Julio, who was the fastest 2-year-old in the country. And Mary Ortland Barr, his trainer, believes they fixed a foot issue with this horse, and it looks like it's paid dividends already.
Yeah, another one. He missed a few weeks going into that Kentucky Futurity where he was second, beaten a long way by Jujubee, came back and kind of upset things at 6.5 to 1 last week in the elim. He's taking a lot of money in here at 7-2, right into Jujubee, who's also getting backed at the windows. If you like to hear that, because this is the time of year where you'd like to clear things up. The end of the season, when they're racing for these championships and the big money on the line, the Breeders' Crown, you'd like to hear that they have an issue under control. And he was able to outgun Jujubee to the wire last week, and they had very similar trips, and if this unfolds the same way today, Jessica mentioned there's some pace in here. You know, the inside two, Inman at Hanover, who left from the 9-hole and the 5-hole in 2 of his last 3 starts. He draws the pylons today. Right next door, Ambassador Hanover has some early speed as well. Quattro de Julio, not without speed, with a little bit of a better draw from 5 to 4 this week. So it looks like there'll be some pace on here. We'll see if the two coming out of the Elim come trotting together again this week.
What a year, whatever happens here, it's been for the 6 Jujubee. This is the first trip, by the way, to the Breeders' Crown Final for trainer Greg Wright Jr. This 3-year-old, first 3-year-old male trotter with 2 sub-150 winning miles. That happened to the Kentucky Futurity and the Pennsylvania Sire Stakes Championship, both in victories. It's just been incredible. His 149.3 score in the Futurity equaled the second fastest mile ever by a 3-year-old. He is the one to beat. It's the 3-year-old Colts and Geldings trot. Let's go to Ken Workington.
And it's post time. Preferred equine starting gate rolling here for the field of 10 3-year-old Colton Gelding trotters. 4 to 5 on 6 Jujubee. 7 to 2 on 4 Quattro de Julio. Elimination winners. 2 Ambassador Hanover 9 to 2. So it's those 3 getting the most action in the betting here. Breeders' Crown Final, $650,000. Presented by Wanda Policini's Purple Haze Stables. 20-cent pick 6 starts now. Here they come. Three-year-olds are off and trotting. Logan Park on the outside. Dancing in the Dark broke. Jujubee charging out of there with Delayed Hanover and Quattro de Julio and Ambassador Hanover right to the top for August Svanstead. It's Ambassador Hanover. Jujubee goes after him on the outside as Quattro de Julio takes a seat in a minute. Hanover on the rail. Delayed Hanover is going up on the outside from 5th. On the move up is Flylight from 6th past the quarter. Then comes Ritson, and in range Hanover after the early break. Logan Park, and way back is Dancing in the Dark. Hot quarter here. 26 and 2 for Jujubee. Andrew McCarthy grabs in, looks to ration out the speed. Ambassador Hanover, elimination winner right there in the 2nd spot. The other elimination winner, Quattro de Julio, is 3rd as they continue across the backstretch. Delayed Hanover parked on the outside uncovered. In a minute, Hanover stride for stride with him in 5th. Flylight is 2nd over 6th. Ritson pinned in 7th on the rail. Then comes In Range, and way back Logan Park and Dancing in the Dark. 55 and 3 was the rated half. So it's Jujubee by 2. He is the target. Jujubee. Ambassador Hanover the inside. Quattro de Julio is asked the question on the outside, and he's coming on in attack mode. As they around the far turn, Delayed Hanover 2nd over behind him. In a minute, Hanover stride for stride with him as they pass 3/4, and it's Jujubee by 2. Quattro de Julio inching in. Ambassador Hanover stride for stride with him. 123 and 4. 28 and 1 in the 3rd quarter. Into the stretch of the Breeders' Crown, and it's Jujubee by 2, 2.5. Quattro de Julio trying to rev up and come after him. Ambassador Hanover to the inside. Delayed Hanover towering up late here as they appear to be getting to Jujubee, but he hangs in there. Jujubee almost there. Jujubee, yes indeed. Then close Flylight, or In Range was flying late. Right there with Delayed Hanover. Jujubee 151 and 2.
What a performance from Jujubee and Andrew McCarthy wasting no time, putting Jujubee on the front end early.
There will be no sitting off the pace this afternoon, Greg. Andrew McCarthy just puts this horse on the Bill Daly, and you know he's urging him on the last 150 yards or so. He's really getting after him a little bit, but he's able to holds pretty safe. This got real tight for a second. It looks like Flylight and In Range are going to round out the exactor and try. But a good effort for Jujubee, who normally sits just off the pace today. He decided to take matters into his own hands behind Andrew McCarthy, in front of Andrew McCarthy.
Had a 6-race win streak, snapped in that elimination last time out, right back into the winner's circle when it matters most. And the Breeders' Crown, and the first trip to the Breeders' Crown Final for Greg Wright Jr. delivers with a win. Andrew McCarthy, Greg Wright Jr., the trainer of Jujubee, first trip to the Breeders' Crown Final and delivers with a win. Jujubee, impressive, able to hang on after Andrew McCarthy put him on the front end early.
It took control of the race from the start. And one thing that all winner's circles have in common, happy, emotional people, whether it's harness racing or thoroughbred racing. It's fun to see. Jujubee 320 as your favorite. And it was a phalanx of horses rushing on for the place. Look at the prices underneath.
Greg Wright said he felt guilty when he got beat in that elimination. He felt guilty because he was disappointed that Jujubee got beat, but he's been so reliable. He bounces right back. What an incredible year for him.
Race number 9 on tap next. It is the Mare Pace. We'll take a look at the field here for the 9th race at the Big M, so to speak, as this one coming up next. Lion Sentinel, all eyes on her. Currently 1-5 as we welcome in Jessica Otten again.
Yes, Lion Sentinel, the heavy favorite in here. You know, you go back and look at that elimination race last week. She got away in the middle of the pack from an outside post. But we have to notice is she went first over in a 26 and change third quarter going around the far turn on a day where it was a bit windy. And it's a bit windy now. The temperatures are dropping. She finished a nice third. She had plenty of pace left at the end of the mile. She draws a nice inside post. I talked to Jim King yesterday about this mare. He said she came out of the race great. She trained great this week. I really like her chances in here. She's had such a sensational 4-year-old year. You know, sometimes the 4-year-old year is a bit of a transition year for these horses, coming from 3 and facing older horses at 4, but she's done it so well. She's been such a pleasure to watch, and she can do it either way. She can cut the mile, she can come from off the pace, and if there's one thing that belongs in a sentence together, it's Jim King Jr., pacing mares, and Tim Tetrick. So I really like the 3 in here. A couple others noteworthy taking to talk about, I guess, is the 1 Rocknificent. This was your elimination winner last week. She tapped the pocket behind Rockanola, who put up those hot tempo fractions, and she got ahead by a neck, 26-4 at the end of the mile, 48-4 for the time of that mile. Been a big fan of this horse. You know, she's set up some pretty nice miles. She's actually set up 2 world record miles and didn't end up getting, you know, the feather in her cap for that, but she's such a nice mare to watch as well. She's handy off of the gate. The rail can be a tricky position to leave on out of there. You've got horses in the middle of the gate that may have a little bit more of an advantage to clear to the front. The 2 Peaky Sneaky doesn't own any wins on the year, 14 starts, 3 seconds, and a 5 third place finishes, but she finished up the mile nicely last week as well. She was able to get away third, and she let everything settle up on front, and she was able to finish second. 26-3, 48-1 at the end of that mile as well. A couple of others in here. Racing Bell took the bye. She also supplemented. She draws the middle of the pack. She likes the big track. I know it says she got beat last week at Yonkers in the Fillies and Mares Open off of a half and 56-2, but she likes the bigger track. The connections were happy enough with her that they put up the supplement money. They took the bye. They put a prep race in her as well. The 7 Rock and Nola, the Indiana connections of Joe and Joey Putnam, father and son there. She's the one who set those hot tempo fractions last week. 26-2 in 55 and then 124 to the 3/4 pole. She can do it either way. I know her lines say that she can do it on the front end. She does own the gate speed, but she can do it from off of the pace as well. I'm going to stick with Lion Sentinel on the top of my ticket in the Mares Open Pace Final for the Breeders' Crown.
Jessica, thank you. Lion Sentinel, the favorite at 2-5 right now. Richie, as she has been so good this year, has been kind of the top horse in the sport.
Absolutely, and I really love listening to Jessica and Anthony. I don't know a lot about harness racing. I enjoy it because anything to do with horses I enjoy, but actually listening in and feeling like I'm learning more about harness racing today because of these two.
Yeah, great opportunity to highlight the sport and highlight a different breed, and on a day that is so important as we welcome back in Anthony Stabile. Anthony, 2-5 right now on Lion Sentinel. She did get beat last time out, as we heard Jessica mentioning, but she really has been the top level here at the top of the sport, basically.
Yeah, model of consistency has been Lion Sentinel. We talked about this earlier. USTA, they have their trotting and pacing polls, and she's at the top of the pacing poll, looking for some more year-end honors. She's been good, and she's looking to go over $2 million in earnings here if she can get the job done this afternoon over at the Meadowlands. 2-5 to get it done. Like Jessica, I think Rocknificent is the only mare really standing in her way. She ran really well in the elim last week, getting the job done over Lion Sentinel, and we'll see what happens if lightning can strike twice. 2-5, 7-2. Really hard to get past. Peaky Sneaky kind of split these two last week. She's getting ignored on the board at 11-1. If you're looking for a price play, I guess she would be the price play. We talked about Racine Bell being supplemented and Rock and Nola coming in from Indiana. I thought the race was inside 3-1, 3-2.
The two Peaky Sneaky, a price, as you mentioned. She pulled a big upset at a big price last year. Can you see a scenario where maybe Lion Sentinel, who is the heavy favorite, could be a little bit vulnerable again this week?
Well, with the post, a much better post from post 7 to post 3, in all likelihood, no. But Peaky Sneaky can work out a similar trip and maybe pull an upset.
Here's Ken Workington at the Meadowlands.
7-2, the elimination winner, Rocknificent, the Breeders' Crown Final. 3-year-olds and up, fillies and mares, $330,000 presented by Kentucky. Anna Farms, field of 10 on gate. Race 9. Here they come. They're off. Racine Bell shoots out of there, goes right to the top. Rocknificent from the inside, early speed with Peaky Sneaky, and Lion Sentinel is 4th. JK First Lady 3 wide from 5th as they swing around that first turn. Keep Rockin' settles in 6th. In front of Rockin' Nola, followed by Marlowe Hanover. And then it's Drama Act on the outside, and Treacherous Rain trails. Quick dart to the front. Rocknificent, the elimination winner, with Scott Ziron. Plants are up front here, in control, 27 flat. So Racine Bell secures that pocket ride with the early speed. Peaky Sneaky close to the pace in 3rd. The odds-on choice, Lion Sentinel, bides her time in 4th position. It's JK First Lady looking to be an anxious 5th here. Keep Rockin' is 6th as they continue towards the half underway. Is Rockin' Nola to the outside. Then it's Marlowe Hanover. Drama Act is underway. Gapped at the back is Treacherous Rain. And it's Rocknificent with the stranglehold on it. 5-2 on the board here. 55-1, 28-1 second quarter. Rocknificent, perfect 2-hole ride for Racine Bell and Jason Bartlett as they round the far turn. It's Peaky Sneaky who stayed in. Lion Sentinel has to do it uncovered as they head to 3 quarters. Grabbing her cover, JK First Lady on the outside. She's all set to come 3 wide right now. Keep Rockin' with a shuffle on the inside. Rockin' Nola has some work to do, but it's Rocknificent on the engine at 3 quarters and 1:22.3. Lays down a 27-2 in that 3rd quarter into the stretch of the Breeders' Crown. Rocknificent, and on the outside, Lion Sentinel is coming up to challenge. Racine Bell trying to squeeze on through. It is still Rocknificent. Lion Sentinel on the outside, and Racine Bell. Rocknificent is Crownnificent. It's Rocknificent. And then Lion Sentinel. Then close either Peaky Sneaky or Racine Bell. Rocknificent in 1:49 in the Breeders' Crown.
Rocknificent gets the victory today, beats Lion Sentinel once again. She made that early move to go to the lead and take the pace over from Racine Bell, who was the original pace setter, Anthony.
A fantastic job by Scott Ziron. When Racine Bell left for position coming off the half-mile efforts at Yonkers, she left. Rocknificent settled, went, made the quarter move, got to the top. You were not happy if you backed Lion Sentinel today, seeing Timmy Tetrick really trying to get after her with about 3/8 of a mile ago with that unenviable task of coming first over. Had every chance to get by Rocknificent, but Scott Ziron and this daughter of Captain Treacherous had a little left in the tank. Gonna hold on by a half length here in race 9.
Very game performance. They threw it down. The two that looked to be the top mares on paper did so on the track as well. Exciting finish there in the mare pace at the Meadowlands. Rocknificent, who was magnificent today. Scott Ziron, the driver, who's standing by with Jessica Ott.
Standing by with winning driver Scott Ziron. Rocknificent takes an open mare pace Breeders' Crown Final. We'll talk about today in a minute, but you've been with her almost every step of the way, and you really brought her along nicely to where you can just do about anything you want with her on the racetrack.
Yeah, some horses aren't as nice to handle as she is, but she's a true professional. She knows exactly what she has to do out there, and she has very tactical speed. So every week and weekend we gotta really use that with her, and she's able to just relax in the mile. We'll conserve our energy, and then late in the mile she'll do just that.
She's set up some pretty nice miles over the course of the year. She hasn't been able to put those feathers in her cap, but today she really proved the horse that she is.
Yeah, she really did. I choose to not put her in front a whole lot, but she is okay up there. And today we just took advantage of the soft fractions, and then Timmy's horse had to come first up. It was a long trip for his, and we just took advantage of it.
You had a horse on your back that was loaded with pace as well. Were you confident near the wire?
I was, just because I knew that horse was never going to get out, but then again, I was still worried about Lion Sentinel. She seems to always beat me every week, so this is nice to finally get the upper hand.
And to do it with Linda, you guys have teamed up with so many great horses over the year. This has to be special.
It is very special, and this horse usually finishes second, so to get the win, it really is amazing.
Nice job.
Thank you.
Jessica, thank you. Rocknificent keeps Lion Sentinel at bay, down to the wire, $7.40 winner. Scott Zieren teaming up with Hall of Fame trainer Linda Toscano as Rocknificent makes it 3 wins in a row. That was exciting. America's Day at the races as we continue with live coverage from the Meadowlands on Breeders' Crown Day. It is the 3-year-old open trot, 3-year-old and up, open trot coming up next, going 1 mile. Currently Ecurie DK 1-5 on the board as we check in with Jessica Otten.
Thanks so much. We are upon the end of our Breeders' Crown coverage final. Race 10 is the open trot. This was the only division that didn't have an elimination last week, so an overload full field of 11 will head to the gate in here. That means the 11 will trail with 10 noses on the gate. Now, they had the option last week to race in the open trot and prep for this race, or a couple of them qualified. Ecurie D was a supplement into this race after having only one lone qualifier right here at the Big M back in on the beginning of October, before heading down to Lexington, where he really eye-popped and showed everybody what he is made of. They supplement him into this race. He drew a nice inside post. He's such a beautiful horse on the racetrack. I'm going to stick with him on the top of my ticket. A couple others worth noting in here. Warwi Roo from the rail picked up the pieces last time out in an open trot right here at the Meadowlands when the pace was set hot up front. He come from well off of the pace. Dan Dubé will pick up the drive. We have your 2019 Hambletonian champ, Forbidden Trade, who pulled an upset on Hambletonian Day right here. He qualified well as well last week, sat third on the rail, and he really finished up the mile nicely with plenty of trot. It's Academic was in the open trot last week as well. He was locked in and loaded with nowhere to go. He draws post 4 in here. He loves the Big M. His mark this year is right here at the Big M. He really raced well in all those graduate series we had here at the beginning of the year. The 5 beads out of the Pear Anglin barn, David Miller, already has 2 Breeders' Crowns on the day so far. This guy can be a bit tricky. He's a bit of a question mark. He has a ton of early speed, doesn't really like to get crowded there, or he will make a break. He's got to get off the gate on the right foot and around that last turn ahead of the field and not crowded, but he's been a bit of a question mark. He really has that early gate speed, but he's got to get off the gate on the right foot. But I'm going to stick with the supplement entry, Ecurie D, on the top of my ticket.
Jessica, thank you. 2-5 right now on that favorite, who absolutely did make a beautiful impression on the racetrack. Ecurie D, lovely mover out there as we welcome in Anthony Stabile again. Anthony, for the open trot here, we once again have a short price favorite.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, Acacia, that this horse is as short as he is. He was 3-1 on the morning line on what looked like a wide open bunch, and now was staring at prohibitive favoritism. This horse was impressive down in the Red Mile. Don't get me wrong, but we really want 2-5 on a horse who's only run twice in this country, and one of those races was a qualifier. For those of you who don't know, qualifier is almost like a practice race for these horses to get eligible to run in a parimutuel event. I guess. I mean, he was impressive when last seen, and that's the other problem. We talked about this earlier in the show. This horse hasn't run in almost 3 weeks now, raced in almost 3 weeks now. I don't know how I feel about this horse at that price. He looks great on the racetrack. He looks amazing on the racetrack. Don't get me wrong. He's scoring down very, very nicely. Oakey's sitting behind him, looking around. He's enjoying the view right now. This horse he looks the part. Don't get me wrong, but that is an awful, awful price. The 11 Chin Chin Hall, you heard Jessica mentioning to start from the second tier. Obviously, we don't. I feel like there are plenty of times when I bet thoroughbreds that I'm starting from the second tier, but that doesn't happen in thoroughbred racing. 10 on the gate. The 11 Chin Chin Hall will start behind the 1 Warwi Roo. I thought both Warwi Roo at 10-1 and the 11 Chin Chin Hall from that second tier for Nifty Norman, Todd McCarthy going to drive. I thought he was a little interesting at a big price in here. Maybe can work out the trip. He ran in the open at the Meadowlands last Saturday. I don't want to say it was the prep for this, but without an elimination, it kind of was the prep. Warwi Roo and Chin Chin Hall ran 1-2 in that race. They finished 1-2. 10-1 and 27-1 in here. Those are the 2 horses I would want to fool around with behind the big favorite.
I like it. Nice price on those two who will rematch after running 1-2 last week on October 23rd. And Anthony, Richie and I were commenting on some of the equipment for those who are maybe thoroughbred horse racing fans and watching the coverage from the Meadowlands here today. Obviously, you're going to see much different types of equipment, different styles for this harness racing on such a big day here with the Breeders' Crown.
Yeah, you'll see trotting hobbles on some horses. So, you head poles are the equipment changes. I remember when I was a kid and used to do a lot of double headers at Roosevelt Raceway, which isn't there anymore, over in Westbury, and up at Yonkers with our buddy Mitch Levites, who Richie will not cook for. They used to mention that the head pole was the big equipment change. Head pole right side or head pole left side, and basically the head pole would keep a horse's head, or still does obviously, keep a horse's head from turning right or turning left depending on where they put the head pole. Brett Pelling, who won a race today, a trainer, the Pelling pacifier is a piece of equipment that goes over the horse's head, almost like a breastplate. So yeah, they have a bunch of different equipment. You know, we have the ring bits and the blinkers and this and that, but in thoroughbred racing, they have a lot of different equipment over at the harness racing.
Yeah, it's really incredible, some of the things you see. And you know, I've had the opportunity to go to Blue Chip Farm in Wallkill, not too far from where I live, upstate New York. And what I didn't know is that horses genetically are predisposed to picking up a pace or a trot. So it's just kind of an interesting sport, something that I enjoy learning about.
Let's go to Ken Workington, the open trot up next from the Meadowlands.
To go 2 for 2 in the U.S., 5-1 on 2 Forbidden Trade. Hambletonian champion here. 9-1 on the 5 beats. They're set for the Breeders' Crown Final Open Trot, $650,000. Presented by Woodbine, Mohawk Park. Here they come. And they're off and trotting. It's academic in beach, shooting out of there from the outside. Comes Ready for Money, and Amigo Volo is widest of all. And right there is EQD, the heavy favorites, now second, as Forbidden Trade cuts the corner from third. So it's Beads on the outside, fourth, looking to slide in. And then it's War Wee Roo. He's stride for stride with a Ready for Money. 3 wide comes Amigo Volo at the rear of the field. Then comes Sermon to the outside. Pinned in is Chin Hall after the second tier start, then back of the neck, and Majestic Player 11th and last, 27-3. Crisp opening quarter. EQD and Okies Fonstead takes the lead. Here comes pressure from Forbidden Trade. The Hambletonian champion challenges. It's academic on the inside, third as they get close to the half. Ready for Money is fourth on the outside. Beads is fifth. Amigo Volo is sixth. War Wee Roo on the outside, seventh, followed by Chin Hall, eighth on the inside. Then comes Sermon on the outside, underway with Majestic Player and back of the neck. Half was 55-1, and now it's Forbidden Trade. The ball's in his court. It's Forbidden Trade, and charging up and quickly after him is Ready for Money and Andrew McCarthy. That one means business. EQD already back to third on the inside. War Wee Roo gapping on the outside, fourth, and squeezing out was EQD. Got some room to squeeze out. It's academic from the inside, has some trot to offer. It's Ready for Money on the outside. Ready for Money, 124-2. They're into the stretch, and it's Ready for Money. EQD unleashed on the outside of Okies Fonstead. Grabs the track, and here comes EQD on the outside, right by Ready for Money. Then on the inside comes Forbidden Trade, and it's EQD and the Breeders' Crown living up to the hype. EQD romps here over back of the neck, then Ready for Money and Sermon. EQD and the Breeders' Crown, 152.
Supplemented and a short price, and rightfully so. EQD gets the win over a late running number 10, back of the neck, Anthony.
Front end in here, and Ready for Money and Andrew McCarthy made this big brush to the top, and I was saying to myself, what is Javi Svanstead doing? A very cavalier drive on a QED. Boy, he knew what he was sitting behind today. He turned this horse loose off the turn, and it was Rap City, back of the neck from a long way back at a big price to close out the exacta. But Acacia, Richie, that was as impressive a performance as you're going to see on this Breeders' Crown card. As easy as it comes here in race number 10.
He tipped his hand in the warm-up, and it showed out on the track as well. It's been so fun getting to cover the Breeders' Crown today. Ecurie D, just another impressive run, as we have one more race from the Meadowlands we'll be showing you on this program today.
You know, Keisha, I mean, I love horses first, and I love horse racing second, but horses are my true love. And not knowing a lot about harness racing, just watching the fluidity of the winner's stride there, Ecurie D, I really was impressed. I mean, you could just see how well this horse was traveling and covering ground, and I think that's the similarity in all breeds. It's how horses move and the balance they show.
The final open pace coming up here in race 11. Let's go to Jessica Otten for more.
Thanks so much. It is the final Breeders' Crown on the card and of the evening, and I guess you could kind of say they saved the best for last. It is the open pace division here, featuring Allywag Hanover and Catch the Fire. Now, there was a lone elimination last week. There were 3 horses that took the byes, and that is the 7, 8, and 9. The 7 being Ocean Rock, the 8 being Allywag Hanover, and the 9 being Catch the Fire. There's plenty of talent in here. The resume speaks for themselves. We can start with a few horses to the inside. We'll talk about the horse that actually won that lone elimination. That was This Is the Plan, a horse that doesn't really love the bigger tracks, but always shows up week after week and puts in a solid performance. Him and Cattle Wash, the horse, right to the outside, fought tooth and nail right to the end of the wire, and it was quite a long photo. We really didn't know who got up to win it, and the horses to the outside are the ones that took the bye, and horses that we want to keep our eye on. I'm sure Allywag Hanover is your favorite right now. He's just been such a sensational horse. He really turned the corner after the Graduate Series at the Meadowlands. Like I had mentioned earlier, the 4-year-olds coming out of their 3-year-old season and facing older horses typically don't get sharp until the end of the year, but he's been super consistent all year long. 16 starts on the season, 9 wins, 2 seconds, and they added another dimension to his racing style this year. He was coming from off of the pace, but he was put on the front end a couple of times as well. He's such a strong horse. It doesn't matter the inside, the outside, and he's overcome a lot as well. That last win down in Lexington, he left out of the gate. They got to the quarter in 25-4, the half in 51-3. He had a stranglehold on him up the backside. He weaved in and out of traffic and then just powerhoused home to win by 2 lengths in 1:46-4. That was a world record at the time, and he just is such a nice horse to watch. They've really come around. He peaked at the right time, and I think he's the one to beat in here. The 9, Catch the Fire, another horse that have been super consistent all year long, and there's a few lines on the program that kind of look a little bit deceiving. He's drawn a lot of outside posts. He's a little guy with a big heart, and he definitely has the guts to go with it. He's a versatile horse as well. He's got plenty of gate speed, but he can come from off the pace. He qualified last week against Allywag Hanover. Plug's still in, 27 home, 49-2, a perfect prep for this. He's 10-1 on the morning line. I'm not sure what the price is right now, but he's definitely one you want to have on your exotic tickets. So I'm going to stick with Allywag Hanover on the top of my ticket to round out a beautiful Breeders' Crown weekend right here in East Rutherford, New Jersey at the Meadowlands.
Jessica, thank you. We appreciate it, and we appreciate all the coverage from everybody at the Meadowlands as we have a 3-5 favorite, Allywag Hanover. Anthony, this horse, he has been impressive in his last few, and it looks like with a win here, he would cinch up the division.
Yeah, he just keeps winning, Acacia, and does very little wrong. 146-4. Boy, that's racehorse time. And that's what he did 2 starts back down at the Red Mile in Lexington. He's going to be awfully tough. It looks like there's plenty of speed in here. Besides him, but he's as fast as they come. I would imagine he's going to leave. War Are We Vital from the inside was a little interesting to me. He's going to get a ton of post relief. You see 7s and 6s on his card for the last month or so. He's going to draw the pylons today for Trevor Henry, who's driven him in 4 of his last 5. He was not aboard last week for the elimination where this horse finished 4th, but he comes back now for the final. 12-1 right now. He was a little interesting to me. This is the plan. Got the job done from post 8. Now draws the 4-hole for the final this week after winning the elim last week for Ron Burke and Yannick Gingras, 2 guys that have teamed up to win countless races and some of the biggest races in the sport of harness racing. But Allywag Hanover, the problem is he has so many representative races on his card that if he comes with any one of his 3 or 4 last efforts in the pari-mutuel races, he's going to beat these horses today. And 3-5, I hate to end the day with a little more chalk, but he looks like he's going to be awful tough today.
He's been so impressive in his last few races. What about a couple of others who are maybe taking some attention? The number 3, Anavon, who was 3rd last time out. He had traffic trouble that day. You think he could potentially pull an upset in this spot?
He could potentially pull an upset. You know, we've talked a lot about horses we like. I'll tell you who I didn't like Ocean Rock on the racetrack. Ocean Rock set those raced into the teeth of those fractions at the Red Mile last time out, 2 starts back for Allywag after the qualifier. I didn't like him on the racetrack. He's a horse that's taken some money. I know he's 12 to 1, but he's the 4th choice, 5th choice at 12 to 1, and he was one of 3 that took the buy into this, along with the 9 Catching a Fire, who was completely dead on the tote board at 35 to 1. He's one of the longest shots, 3rd longest price on the board for Scott Zeron, who just got the job done a couple of races back. Yeah, Anavant made up a lot of ground in his last 2 starts. Maybe he gets along for a piece. I'll tell you what, though, I was a little surprised at all the money this horse took, Acacia. This horse is 9 to 2. He's the 2nd choice right now. I thought the 5 Cattle Wash would take some money, another Haran Burke with Dave Miller in the sulky. I thought Ocean Rock would take more money, but maybe some people are sharing the same sentiment as me. I really didn't like what I saw on the track from him. That horse on the screen right now, Or Are We Vital, I think can get into the gimmicks here.
I like it. 12 to 1, a nice price on this one here. Anthony, when you're handicapping these kinds of races, and we've seen, especially in the last race, for instance, as they are going this mile in the open trot, this is the open pace here to wrap up the Breeders' Crown races. When you're starting to handicap, how do you attack it as far as maybe looking at pace setters with post positions? What are some of the things that you take into account?
That's probably the biggest difference, Acacia, between handicapping harness and handicapping thoroughbreds. The post position plays so much of a role because more often than not, the starting point dictates the trip. Right, if a horse draws in post 1 last Friday, and they're going to leave out of there from the rail and protect the pylons and be forward, well, maybe the following week if they're leaving from post 7 or post 8, it's going to be a tougher task to get up and around those horses. So especially on the shorter tracks, the Meadowlands is not as big a deal, but if you're handicapping a half-mile track, something like that, it's a little more difficult to win from those outside post 7 and 8, let's say at Yonkers, which is a half-mile track. That's like the death knell. That's why you'll see some of these races as well. The elimination winners will draw towards the inside. That happened earlier on the card. Whereas the open races, and the open races are like the weekly stakes races, for the lack of a better term, for the harness horses. They will assign the open winner from the last week a 6, 7, or 8 hole as a little bit of a handicap, right? Weight doesn't mean anything. We know that. I've driven in media races. Weight doesn't mean anything. So the way they handicap them is by giving them the outside draws.
3 to 5 right now on Allywag Hanover as they get set. Let's go to track announcer Ken Workington for the final Breeders' Crown race at the Meadowlands.
More after this, but right here it's the final Breeders' Crown event, and it's a good one. And right now, 3 to 5 on 8. Allywag Hanover back at the big end. The Breeders' Crown final open pace presented by Bowringer Engelheim for $600,000. Race 11 starts the late pick 3. Here they come. On the rock, Cattle Wash is eager to fire out of there. Ocean Rock alongside with Allywag Hanover. Those 3 with This Is the Plan outsprinted in 4th position. War We Vital on the inside. 5th is working on a mystery, is cutting the corners. 6 on Anavant. 7th on the outside. Then comes Nicholas Beach at the back with Catch the Fire and Ruthless. Hanover 2 wide at the quarter. And it's now Ocean Rock and Dan Noble. Ambitious early. Here comes Allywag Hanover and Todd McCarthy. 25 and 4 toward opening fraction. Cattle Wash is 3rd on the inside. War We Vital is under a tight rein in 4th position. This Is the Plan wrangled back in 5th, and Working on a Mystery is 6th. So Anavant looks to go up 7th on the outside and follow some live cover, followed by Nicholas Beach, then Catch the Fire and Ruthless. Hanover still last, halfway home. Allywag Hanover, the big favorite here, 2 to 5, and hits the half in 53 and 2. It's Allywag Hanover, carves it out with Ocean Rock and Dan Noble. Big long shot right there in 2nd, onto the far turn. Cattle Wash is gapped in 3rd. War We Vital 4th on the inside. This Is the Plan needs to get going from 5th. Ruthless, Hanover, saving ground 6th, then working on a mystery on the outside, 7th, followed by Anavant. And Catch the Fire and Nicholas Beach. Passing 3/4, Alleywag, Hanover on a mission. Ocean Rock 2nd, 1:21 and 2 for 3/4. Alleywag Hanover flaunting his speed today, ripping out of the pocket. Ocean Rock is upset, minded, and Dan Noble on the outside, trying to size up the champion Alleywag Hanover. Then it's Cattle Wash in 3rd. It's Ocean Rock on the outside, Alleywag Hanover on the inside. Good slugfest to the wire. Ocean Rock, final move from Cattle Wash. Ocean Rock with the Breeders' Crown shocker. Then close, Cattle Wash or Alleywag Hanover. Then way out wide, Anavant. Ocean Rock was 16-1 on the board, 148 and 3.
Ocean Rock pulls the upset, a big price on the board. We wrap up the Breeders' Crown races with a long shot, Anthony.
Yeah, so much for not liking what I saw on the racetrack from Ocean Rock. Dan Noble gave this horse a brilliant drive today. Left for position, Alleywag Hanover intent on clearing with Todd McCarthy. He sat chilly in the pocket and waited for his turn. He took a long time to get by the heavy favorite, but they don't keep score of how long it took him to get by. He got by and he gets the job done at a double-digit price. Great drive, big effort from Ocean Rock. Cattle Wash from a long way back. Almost got the job done, but it was Ocean Rock's day today.
Ocean Rock back in the winner's circle. He was pairing up back-to-back victories, had a defeat last time out, and a little fist bump there after the wire, gets back to the winner's circle today. As Anthony, we want to say a big thank you for all of your terrific insight with us today. It's been so fun getting a chance to pick your brain a little bit here and learn more about these races from the Meadowlands. And